Hello and welcome to Balanced Existence. I've done a few videos so far that were more informational in nature, but they were from channeled downloads that I got while walking in nature. And what I want to do today is a more channeled reading. So I've been sitting in meditation, praying to my angels, and I really am called to channel into a collective experience. So if it resonates with you, then it's for you. And I would love to hear from you in the comments. I've said before, I am really looking forward to attracting this community. I know I'm just getting started out, but I know that the right audience is going to come find these videos. And I would just love to hear from you in the comments so that we can start building this beautiful community. So the collective, I'm picking up on a divine feminine, and of course gender may not match up, right? Because we all have masculine and feminine within us. But this divine feminine, she's so lighthearted and empathic, sensitive. She's really been coming into her intuition and her spirituality. And because of her lightheartedness and her ability to forgive and to just be so understanding and compassionate, she may be seen by others, or even at times herself, feel like she is naive, but it is so not true. And I'm getting chills just to confirm that this is the path of an intuitive spiritual woman. She is in a world that often leads her to doubt herself. And so I'm just setting the stage here to make sure that whoever this video is for can understand, and I can kind of paint this picture of what I'm channeling into. But, you know, what I'm also picking up is she may very well, this is more specific, it may not resonate with everyone, but she may very well have kind of been shaped by the external world in a way where she actually kind of conformed and adapted, I'm hearing like a chameleon, to the way of the world. So an example of this may be that she, went through schooling, or she got a very high level job, or maybe she has a job that's like especially like a rational-minded job, and it was a great career achievement and great success, but it did cause her to lose sight of her more intuitive and creative flowing sides. And so she has recognized this kind of need for balance. Whether or not she keeps that rational-minded job or has a shift, either way, she's recognizing that there's a call for balance. And that's why I named this channel Balanced Existence. I find that balance comes up in almost everything in life. And so for this specific collective that I'm channeling into, I'm getting that that's a big theme. So this divine feminine has been doing an abundance of self-growth, and she's always been self-aware, and she has just climbed mountains in terms of the inner work that she has done. And she may have made what she considers mistakes in her dating life before, in love, in even friendships, maybe even in career, in terms of who she was able to trust. And again, like I was saying before, she may feel like she's naive because of these so-called mistakes. But I'm channeling into this perspective that is so zoomed out, and it says there's no mistakes, that this was the ultimate journey. This was the path, and she is on it, and that is beautiful. And so this path is that she is learning to really see her own self-love and self-worth. And I want to channel into the divine masculine, or if you don't like the terms feminine masculine, you can use the term divine counterpart. I want to channel more into this. However, I want it to be so clear from the beginning here in this picture that I'm painting of this, collective experience, that, and maybe this is like a spoiler alert for you, but it's really not about the counterpart. Like, the counterpart was just a tool. And I don't mean that in any kind of offensive way, but they were truly a tool for the divine feminine, for you to come to this recognition of your true essence and the love and the worth that is inherently a part of your true essence. And so what I'm getting here is that, of course, you may still want sacred union, and that's totally okay. I mean, it's okay to want to be with someone. It's, there are going to be aspects of attachment in this life that we can't just not feel. I mean, we are humans. We have an ego. It is a natural part of the human experience to form attachment to things and to want things, right? Even though we're told often in manifestation that you have to kind of release the control, or kind of like almost like stop wanting it, which is kind of a misconception, because you don't stop wanting your dreams, right? You just release the control, which is a very nuanced kind of, like, you have a grip on it, but not too tight of a grip. So we can go more into that in a separate video, but I do just want to make it clear that you wanting this person is totally okay. I mean, the goal here is not to just completely detach and just be at one with your own essence, because that's not really a normal human experience. However, what I'm getting is that this collective has neglected that part of the journey, the part where they can recognize their own worth and inherent love and abundance that is a part of their source energy that makes up their existence. They have neglected that for so long that they have been on this journey to come to recognition with that. So if you're listening to this and this is resonating, you are at this point where you are so ready. Like, you have done so much inner work, and you are ready to cross that line or cross that hill, however you want to envision it. Maybe you're ready for your first healthy relationship that you've ever had. Marriage, I'm getting chills. Just this idea of like really crossing that line, like a line in the sand. And on one side of that line that you've been on for many years, things felt so difficult. And I'm getting so many chills. This is definitely confirmation. Things felt so difficult. And when I pulled some tarot cards here, I got the 5 of Cups as the first card. And that is so the energy that I'm getting. I'm getting chills once again. This energy of being on that one side of the line in the sand, being constantly disappointed, feeling like life is not going to work out the way you want it. I'm getting chills once again. So if this relates to you, I'm getting that we are crossing that line. I'm getting chills again. And we're like, that is such a monumental, pivotal part of your life that we have to take a moment to just recognize how special and magical it is. And we have to be able to see the awe in it. It's so common that we go through our day-to-day life and it's hard for us to miss out on that big perspective. But your angels are really looking down on you about to cross this line, or maybe you're crossing, maybe you've just crossed it, maybe you're in the process of crossing it as we speak. And they're looking down at you, wishing that you could see how monumental of an experience this is for you. So when we're moving from the Five of Cups, the second card I'm getting here is the Three of Pentacles, as well as the Ten of Wands. So this is something that I was picking up on earlier as well. I'm getting chills again. I'm getting a lot of chills. I've never gotten this many chills all consecutively before, but this is also my first channeled reading, so I think I'm getting the confirmation to keep going and that this is going to attract the right people who resonate. So if you're listening this far and this resonates, I'm so glad you found this, and I'm so grateful for your presence here, and I'm just so grateful for your existence on this planet. So thank you for helping me, co-create this message and for contributing to this collective energy. So the Three of Pentacles, what this is showing me is that you, in the process of crossing this line, of doing this inner work, you have maybe, what am I trying to say? You've nurtured a skill. Maybe you've started a creative project. It could be career related. It could be just a hobby. It could be an artistic or creative hobby. But what I'm getting is that you may have needed to collaborate with others, but what I'm getting is you definitely needed to collaborate with others. The synergy of working with others. So whether it was on some kind of project or maybe even just healing, maybe you had to take time to do, somatic work or therapy, and you had to work with a coach or therapist, or even just your friends. Maybe you had a group of friends that you guys were going through a similar thing, and so you needed to kind of collaborate and connect on these issues to facilitate your growth. So that's what I'm getting there with the Three of Pentacles. So maybe it was a creative project and you had to reach out to people to get kind of mentorship or advice on it. But you might think, like, what does this have to do with my, divine counterpart or my healthy relationships? But this is exactly the point. And I'm getting chills again. That work that you're doing, you might think, well, that's just the Three of Pentacles. Like, what about the Ten of Pentacles, the Ten of Cups? Like, what about, the major arcana, those signs that just show you that, like, you've done it and you are just like that high priestess, you are that empress. But what I'm getting so strongly is, like, the Three of Pentacles is such a beautiful and meaningful card because it is the journey. It's not any kind of endpoint. It's not any kind of, hooray, you did it, everything's great. It is the work that you do. And sometimes we just see the work as just some minor step to get us to the final journey, like the final end point of the journey. But it's about the journey. It is the, like, life is the Three of Pentacles. And so I'm hoping that you can, like, pick up on just, like, the awe of recognizing the beauty of this card. And then we also had the Ten of Wands. So it's quite possible that this felt like almost like a burden or like a huge responsibility. And, like, maybe you realized, oh my gosh, this is, like, so much work that I've got cut out for myself. And so there's obviously a message here about balancing, work-life balance or, like, stress and burnout of this project that you're doing, and always creating an environment that's going to keep your body nourished and nurtured, regardless of the amount of work you feel you have to do. So I think that card came out. I'm getting chills again. That card came out to, make that known as a reminder for you. Prioritizing self-care so you don't collapse under the burden of all of this inner work that you're in the weeds, like you're deep in it. Also what comes with this card is recognizing where you need certain boundaries. So I think for empathics, intuitives, and sensitives, like this divine feminine that I was describing, boundaries is a huge part of your journey. So now that we've painted this picture, we are crossing this line. Let us talk a little bit about the counterpart. So now this could manifest in any number of ways, but I don't want to go too specific, but if something comes up, of course I will share it. But the big picture here is that you have a divine masculine counterpart that you feel so drawn to, so connected to, like being with anyone else just feels like a betrayal of self. That's how connected you feel to this person. However, your experience with this person was rooted in a past of unhealthy, maybe toxic relationship dynamics, which are themselves a mirror of unhealthy or toxic, patterns of the self. And so I think I mentioned before that this relationship is like a mirror. I think I said that they were like a tool for you to, find your own self-worth and self-love. But this relationship is also a mirror to show you what it is that you needed to work on. So you may have found that any time you felt like you could put blame on this person, like they did that and that was unhealthy, or like they betrayed me in this way, or they did that, like any kind of negative problem that you found with this person, there is a equal statement that is mirroring about yourself. So for example, you may say, well, they betrayed me. Like I didn't betray them. Like they betrayed me. I wanted to be with them. They said they wanted to be with me, and then they were avoidant, or they had commitment issues. That's like a big part of this collective experience I'm picking up on, by the way. Haven't gotten there yet, but you may be thinking, well, they betrayed me. I wasn't avoidant. I don't have commitment issues. How could this possibly be a mirror? But there is something in there deeper about something that you may be avoiding. You may be avoiding the truth of where this person is in life. You may have been thinking they're ready because that's what you wanted to see, but you were avoiding deeper red flags that were presented that you couldn't see because you didn't want to see. So there were things that you were avoiding in the same way that there were things that they were avoiding. And we can go into more specifics in future readings, but what I'm really getting here is that, I'm getting the 7 of Pentacles. So this person needed to choose. They could do the same thing they've been doing this whole time, which is maybe they prioritized work. Maybe there were other karmics. They just made the same decisions or the same actions and in the same box that they were kind of pigeonholing themselves into. Whereas you are very transformative. You being the divine feminine are very transformative, constantly growing. They are constantly growing too, but your growth is more spiritual and has more of an open-minded flow to it. Their growth was more masculine in nature, in the sense, in the archetypal sense of the word, where it was all about discipline and structure and repetition. And there was an aspect of monotony in their life that they just accepted, whereas you wanted more abundance in your life. And to be honest, as much as you may have felt attached to them, it was never going to work out in that time, in that timing of them having the value of that monotony and you having the value of abundance and transformation in the spiritual sense. So what I'm getting is, like this divine masculine, they needed to make a decision to pivot towards love and vulnerability and abundance. They may still need to make that decision, but until that decision was made and until they actually embodied that energetic shift, they were going to continue to choose the same thing that they have been choosing. And as long as they were choosing those same things that they've been choosing, they were never going to be compatible with you. And that may be the truth that you have been avoiding. Okay, now going forward, I did say you were crossing a line. And if you are this twin flame and you guys are inherently connected in energy, then they would be going through some pivot as well. And sacred union is, of course, a outcome, right? Although that's not the main point of what we're getting at. We would like to focus more on the journey, because the journey is never ending. The outcome is an illusion, right? Because even on the outcome, like it's like when you get married, like when you get engaged, that's not the end, right? Like that's the beginning. The journey is ongoing. So let's channel more into this divine counterpart. So, like they may work really hard. They may have a lot of structure, discipline. I'm also picking up on this aspect where you feel like, although you may feel like there are incompatibilities, or you may be just now recognizing incompatibilities in terms of your core values, and this could very well, this is obviously I'm talking about when you were on the previous side of that so-called line in the sand, right? This could be your past, right, that I'm channeling into, depending on where you are at in the journey of crossing that line in the sand. But as I'm setting the stage of this past, like, you may have recognized, like, you may be recognizing that there were incompatibilities, but at the same time, you've always known from the moment you met this person that there are things that you have to learn from this person. And of course, there are things that they have to learn from you, whether or not they are aware of that. But you have known in your heart that this is the person, and this is why you feel such a strong connection to them, is you feel like they have so much to teach you. And by nature of you having this core value of wanting to grow and transform spiritually to just a level of abundance that is really infinite, truly infinite, you are looking at this person as this abundant source of lessons to be learned. And they're not all going to be challenging lessons, but also just an abundant source of wisdom for you to pull from. And that is the beauty of having this divine counterpart that is mirroring you, but also showing you parts of you that you've never seen, right? And that's just the beauty of this twin flame mirroring connection. So, another thing I want to do to paint this picture is speak on the separation. So, you may not have even really been together for that long. You may have known them for a long time, but most of that time was actually in separation. These are specific details, so take what resonates. But, I'm getting just this repeated experience of them not, like, of your divine counterpart not having an open heart, maybe feeling insecure, fearing heartbreak or abandonment, which that could also be a mirroring of your own fear of abandonment. Feeling like if they don't have career success, that they are a failure, right? Like those kind of limiting subconscious beliefs. And this divine feminine, you are constantly forgiving him. It's almost like you both didn't feel good enough for each other, but also this dynamic ebbed and flowed a lot. And so, he felt a lot of shame for how he acted. You felt a lot of forgiveness, but you also needed to learn forgiveness for yourself. And so now we're at this place where we are crossing this line in the sand. And you are so strongly guided by your intuition and your angels now, or maybe you're just beginning to tap into this. But you are starting to fill in the details of what you're trying to manifest here. Because it's not about the other person. It's not about the other person changing, the other person meeting some expectation that you have. It's about you taking, metaphorically, a blank piece of paper, I'm getting chills, and sketching this beautiful picture of your life. It's not about taking some page out of this other person's metaphorical coloring book and trying to color within their lines and make your life fit into their outline, right? This is about you as the divine feminine, as the holder of creation, like the source energy that yields creation. As the holder of that energy, you are taking that blank piece of paper and you are sketching what you want your life to look like. You are drawing this picture from scratch and you are filling it in with colors as you go, right? Like, this is your creation. Your life is your creation. And that's why this Three of Pentacles seems like such a minor card, but it's really about you sketching out, whether it's a skill or a project, like you are tapping into that creative source energy, which I have a few videos before where I really talk more about, I have more information about like the downloads I got about tapping into creative energy. But so you've got your angels like right next to you. I just got chills again. You have them with you. You were praying for them. You were asking them for support. Like you may have started to hear more, I was going to say hear voices, but I mean like hear guidance from your angels. Like you may be finding that your like intuitive, like your clairvoyance or claircognizance is getting clearer. And so as you're sketching this beautiful picture of how you want your life to be, you're starting to fill in details of what you want your relationship to look like, what you want your home to look like. I'm getting chills again. What you want your friendships to look like, your career to look like. And because you have been tapping into this abundance, which I talk about in my previous videos, it's like because you've tapped into that abundance, you're not just sketching with like a dull pencil. You've got every color pencil, marker, whatever pen, whatever you want to draw with, right? Like it's all sharpened, it's all full of ink, right? Like that is what happens when you tap into that abundance and you realize, oh my gosh, like I can draw whatever I want on this picture. I'm getting chills again. I have every color available, every color imaginable available to me. And that, this Three of Pentacles, even this journey through your Ten of Wands, understanding what it is to have boundaries, like that is all stuff that you had to go through to get to this point where now you've cleared out so much of this heavy energy that you've got your angels right next to you. You've got a desk full of, all of the beautiful colors and paints and pens and pencils, whatever you want to draw with. And you've got this beautiful, and maybe it's not just a normal sheet of printer paper. Maybe it's a giant poster board or canvas. Like, because you have cleared out that heavy energy, you've got an open canvas right in front of you, ready for you to sketch from scratch and create this dream vision of your life. And yeah, here we go. I'm getting the Four of Wands and the Three of Cups. And the fact that I got all of these cards in this order, I just love how this tarot reading just really told the story, right? I got the Three of Cups and then I got the Four of Wands. So you're getting, but these I'm finding to be very connective. And I got the Knight of Swords here. So, I mean, I'm getting, and the star. Wow, that's amazing. So yeah, I'm really getting that, like, you have done all of this work. You're sitting down about to sketch this beautiful painting or picture. I'm getting chills again. Three of Cups, you're attracting the friendships, maybe even the romance that you want in your life. This is a reason to celebrate. Chills again. Four of Wands, like you are getting recognition. People are going to recognize, whether they say it or not, whether they consciously recognize it or not. It's not really about other people recognizing you, but that's what's happening. That is a side effect of this beautiful journey you're on. And they're recognizing how much you've grown, how much you've lifted your energy, how light you feel, how light you appear, like this glow that you have. And with the Knight of Swords, I'm feeling this call to take action. I think I said this in a previous video. If you have a creative idea that comes to you, grab it and act on it. Really, like, in prioritizing this creative projects and making it a habit to get into this creative flow state, and, you know, making it a habit to embody abundance. Like, you are really feeling that that excitement and that whirling of energy. That's what this Knight of Swords is showing. It's showing, let's do this. Like, I'm so ready. Like, I've done so much inner work. My energy is clear. I'm getting chills again. I feel like I have to say it every time I get chills, just because it's crazy how much of a confirmation it is and how often it's been happening in this reading. But the Knight of Swords is just like, let's jump on this. Like, what are we waiting for? Like, there's nothing else I could possibly think of doing. Like, why would I sit and watch TV when I could do this project that I'm so excited about, or whatever it may be for you, right? Like, and then the star, just this feeling of hope and optimism and, you know, nothing but light ahead of us. So I'm going to stop this reading here. If you resonated, please drop a comment. Thank you so much for listening. And I can tell we have a lot more that's going to come through in future readings. So I'm really excited to continue to tap into this collective. And thank you so much for listening. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye.